all on the same topic, that is changing face of broadcasting, is Dr. Dharmanna Ranganathan. He is the Director General, Doordarshan Kendra, Vijayawada. He is a highly learned person, having vast experience, a highly qualified person, and I request all the students to take the advantage and be in contact with him after the session also, and perhaps they may get benefited. That is what I hope. And every time we are requesting, as the chairman has told in the beginning of this, before we started the session, in the initial chat, the students should ask the questions so that they can get benefited what is happening or what is going to happen in the future. If you feel it is saturated, it is the end. But there is an enormous scope. We are having, prior to this, we had some communication topics where 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G also were covered, and after what, we do not know still. So, and similarly today, we have got the communication, the video on demand, bandwidth on demand. We are getting anytime we are able to see. I remember that we used to wait for a particular slot some 2-3 decades back. Only in the evening 6 to 8, Doordarshan used to be there. And afterwards, again, there won't be any program like that. We used to wait for. But today, at any time, whatever program we want, we can go and watch by sitting at home. So with this, I request our chairman, IET Hyderabad Center, to deliver his welcome address.
Thank you, Sangamka sir. So good morning to all the participants and welcome you all to this 76th webinar of our regular knowledge sharing session. So I welcome today's speaker, Dr. Ranganathan sir. He is the Deputy Director and Senior corporate members, Vasudev Veerabhadra Rao, Dr. Rama Rao, and many other executive committee members who are the colleagues of our executive committee team of IET Hyderabad Center, and many corporate members, and generally governing council members who are not available on the screen. I know that they are by keeping their camera in mute mode, they are also seeing these programs, and many students and faculty members. So thank you all for making this program possible, and we welcome you to this special program on related to broadcasting. So you all know that we have covered many areas like communications, telecommunications, and biomedical, and computers, computer hardware, software, defense area. The resource person is available. We are bringing them here, and they are helping our IET members and all the participants. So today we are entering into the new area. This, I think, has said that it is the first time we are coming to the broadcast engineering. So you all know the broadcast engineering now. See, earlier we used to have the analog television sets and analog radio sets, and now the scenario has changed. Now total this broadcasting has become digital. So because of this digital and availability of spectrum, availability of new technologies and all softwares and all, it has become merged with the software. So totally it's changed now. So all these things are happening because of the spectrum availability and many new technologies, like from analog television to now. So even in the radio also you can see. So many like world space radio and digital radio Mandial and other radio station radio like what we call high definition radio, and many developments are happening in the radio also. Even in the radio fields, you can see the television programs simultaneously while watching. A small screen will be there. In that you can watch the today's weather forecast and the newspaper reading. So all of course it will be at a low proxy, but still you can see all the programs, weather forecast, advertisements, newspapers, graphics, text, whatever you want. So these features are added in a small window of video. So see the technology, how it is spreading. So all these things, we have very knowledgeable and experienced speaker. Today's speaker, Dr. Ranganathan is there. He will share with us what are the developments happening, how the technology is spreading. So those things he will be sharing with us. members after the completion of session or during the session also, there is no problem. So you can interrupt Ranganathan sir. He is very experienced. He's got best trainer award. So there won't be any wherever you feel. So that whenever that possibility is there for you, because he's a very senior trainer in this area. And with this, I welcome once again Dr. Ranganathan sir coming forward to our this knowledge sharing session and 76th webinar. So with all your support, sir, we are able to continue this. And I request all the resource person like you to come forward in the new areas which are helpful to our corporate members and students. So thank you once again, sir, on behalf of our IET Hyderabad Center Executive Committee members. I am thanking you, sir, for sparing your time and coming on our request and taking this particular session on the broadcast related thing. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Ganesh sir, nice words. It's really thank you for the
Sangamkar sir. Sangamkar sir. Hello. Hello. Is that audible, sir?
Sangamkar sir is muted. Huh?
Yes, very much.
But
you're audible.
Looks like.
Yes, good. Devraj, can you hear me, Devraj?
Audible.
Devraj.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Devraj, just find out Sangamkar sir. Is there any problem?
Sangamkar has left. That is the screen. It is
No,
messages
sir.
coming.
He's inside, but he's.
Yeah, now I request Tuti Sandhya to.
Sir, I could join again. There was a small issue.
Sir.
There was an issue with my PC. I think it has to be rebooted.
Acha, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
So now the profile of the
Ramarao, sir.
Ranganathan will be reading, sir.
Yeah, I request
Ramarao
Ramarao to read the profile of our today's eminent speaker.
Ranganathan, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Sangamkar. It's indeed a privilege and a pleasure to introduce a person of Dr. Dharmana Ranganathan's eminence. Currently, he is Deputy Director General, DDK Vijayawada. He is one of the very prominent engineers of the Doordarshan and AIR network, which he joined in 1988, a batch of Indian Broadcast Engineering Service. From 1989, he actually seems to have commenced service, but he belongs to the 88 batch of IBES. And he's a BTech from JNTU Anantapur, then post-graduation from IIT Kanpur, PhD from Jadavpur University, Calcutta, and also an MBA from Osmania University. I wonder whether any more degrees are left to be acquired by him. I mean, it's a wholesale academic degrees. His professional life also is equally brilliant as his academic achievements. He has already put in 33 years of service in the broadcast field. Notably, he worked in the staff training school, staff training institute at Bhubaneswar, where he was awarded the best trainer award in the field of broadcast engineering. He specializes in coding techniques and also in the field of signal processing. He has been DDG at DDK Hyderabad also, an eminent speaker, and he addressed a number of seminars connected with broadcast engineering. When it comes to speaking, let me mention the interesting observation I always make is somehow the eminence in engineering profession and the ability to speak, they don't seem to go together often. With the result that many eminent engineers, they are unable to communicate well, and therefore they don't become popular. Happily, in the case of Dr. Ranganathan, these two opposite attributes, eminence in the profession and eminence in the ability to communicate, both have gone together wonderfully well. So this is a very rare combination indeed, and it has been a pleasure dealing with him for the last many years, both in the Broadcast Engineering Society and IETE, and at a professional level also. He is a life member, BES, IETE, Institution of Engineers, and also Association of All India Association of Management, All India Management Association, IMA. So, and the topic chosen by him is Changing Face of Broadcasting, a very interesting and relevant topic, and an eminent speaker before us. So let us look forward to a very, very interesting session. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramarao Garu. Now I request Dr. Dharmanna Ranganathan to deliver his lecture.
Thank you, Ramarao Garu. First of all, see, I've seen you many times in BS, summing up the events and all in an extraordinary way. But I'm not able to enjoy, a lot of accolades. Probably I don't deserve it. But yeah, there is no other better person than summing up or starting thing other than Ramarao sir. See, first of all, I was very, very happy to see you, sir, Ramarao Garu, Ganeshwara Garu. And I heard about Sangmakar a lot, and today I am getting an opportunity. And many with the senior members. So I once again thank you all, and along with our Sitaram Babu Garu, who is after me, convinced me to take the class. But yes, I'm very happy that 70 members are there. I was prepared for 30. And yesterday I was really busy. I could not tell my broadcast people to join. But anyway, 71 is too good for me, sir. So I'll start. Devaraji, you're online?
Hello, sir.
So shall I close? No, because
Yes,
of
sir. Same process you can.
I will mute me, video and okay. So
Yes, sir. You need not to mute any video, sir. You go for present now.
Right. Is it coming, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's opening. It's opening.
Right,
Yes,
right,
sir.
sir. Now got it, sir.
Full screen, sir. Make
Sir,
it full screen.
got it.
Right, sir.
The changing.
The talk can go for 1 hour, no?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So I shall I go full screen?
Yes, sir.
So now it's coming full?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Please.
Thank you. So I'll be, very briefly touching upon what is the path traveled and what is the road traveled so far by Prasara Bharati, and what is the road ahead. A little bit more specific at Prasara Bharati. And third is the technological innovations, influencing broadcasting. Lots of changes are happening very, very fast. And what are the technologies used for terrestrial and other like DVT2? And today, huge competition is coming from ATSC 3.0. And what is SDA to IP? SDA is a standard for traditional broadcasting, serial digital interface. Now more and more the broadcasting is becoming IP-centric, computer-centric. So the protocols are IP. So what is the advantage of going from SDA to IP, and what are the changes happening there? And of course, everybody knows about 5G, and where also broadcasting is also not separate twin, is also influenced by the 5G broadcasting. And there is no other area, not touched by artificial intelligence and machine learning. And broadcasting is also, many areas are done today by artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I'll conclude the show. This is a very brief thing today I'm going to discuss. Is it okay, sir? Are you?
Yes, sir. Please go, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's fine, sir.
Thanks. Yeah, we have started with people were very happy with a single channel with a rooftop, mostly rooftop antenna. We are all used to that, and from the single channel Doordarshan, so either regional or national used to interest. So at that time also people were very happy to have Doordarshan. But now with the plethora of channels, definitely the shift has happened from single channel to multi channels with a variety of platforms, starting from a smartphone size to very very big screens like the standard definition, high definition, ultra high definition. There is a 4K. There is especially some of the sports today generated in 8K. So huge shift happened from a single channel to a multi-channel environment. Today, all the DTH operators are giving more than 300 channels of thing with a very crystal clear pictures. So earlier we were happy converting from black and white to color. Now from color we have gone from analog to digital, which we call it as SDI, serial digital interface. Then from SDA, the people started going for more and more high resolution pictures to mimic the film quality. And now the many of the DTH people are having transmitting both the SD and HD to have a quality difference. And now many of the film producers and the Doordarshan, TV content producers are producing in 4K, which is 4 times more resolution than the HD. Because even though now they are not able to transmit 4K or 8K, at least for future, if they want to transmit the same thing, now they will be generating 4K content, and later on that right now they will be converted to lower resolutions like HD and SD. But in future, as more and more people start using 4K, the content should be available. So as far as the production is concerned, already it is doing in 4K. So definitely a huge shift has happened, starting from a black and white single channel to right now a plethora of channels now in HD and ultra high definition product especially. So as far as broadcasting Prasarabhat is concerned, we are also not lagging behind. In fact, our experience was, see, many of the equipment manufacturers are from abroad, and many of the software programming is also from abroad, and many of the done in some of the, because of the speed at which the digital requires, because a normal digital signal requires 270 megabits per second for transmitting. So to deal with this kind of high-end things, some of the things are not done in software; they had to be done in hardware, because the hardware is much faster than the software. But with the tremendous advances in VLSI technology and chip manufacturers, now it has become more useful to go for software codes kind of thing. A lot of flexibilities also happened, and the experience we had in Doordarshan is that any equipment you purchase, from foreign authors and all, and whenever they change these things, we have to pay a lot of money and all. With that, the Doordarshan started developing their own softwares for that. That is one of the key shift happened. So both mainly news and program. Of course, we'll be using in that satellite feeds. For example, how do you collect the news? One is from satellite feeds, where we'll be getting from DSNG vehicles. You all be aware of that. Many of the events, they go for a camera and a DSNG vehicle. We'll be uplink to satellite, and of course, Kendra side will be receiving it. And not only that, now mobile news gathering is also happening. So in addition to the satellite mode, we are also going for the internet and other modes. And through mobiles also, we are now gathering through fiber, through social media, because the codec technology has improved a lot, that we are getting almost HD quality signals even from a small if you combine 2-3 SIM cards of the mobile operators, we'll be able to, we are decently getting the quality signal, especially when you compare with the program news. The quality is not that important, content is important. In program, of course, you require both quality and the quality of the program also very, very important. So many of the news contents we are also receiving through FTP servers. These are some of the things right now we are using here. We have one software developed by our own team, news data management system and newsroom control system. And fortunately, I'm very proud to announce that this news data management system, one of the key member is our own Doordarshan Kendra Hyderabad Superintendent, Mr. Ramakrishna. Right now, the chairman of BS is also one of the instrumental member in developing some of the important softwares, and it should be very nice to have that. So NDMS, news data management softwares. The idea why I'm telling all this is, see, the proprietary softwares are very, very costly, and sometimes if you want to change a little bit, and every version they'll be charging heavily because they're all proprietary items. So once we develop our own softwares to cater to our broadcasting, it saves a lot of money. So the Ramakrishna and his team really saved a lot of money to the department. And we have the Prasarabhati news services also, and I'm very happy to announce you that we have one the app. So this is News on Air app. I think I don't know how many people heard about this app. This is News on Air app. It is available in Google Store, Play Store, and all. You can download it, and where you can have 200 plus. This is 230 plus live radio channels. You also have live TV of some of the DD channels, all current affairs, news. This is available across the globe. And in fact, why I'm telling is earlier, if I want to, especially radio. Sir, any? Am I going in the right direction?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can go ahead.
So just I'll give an example that if I want to listen any of my radio programs in other countries, only the shortwave transmission is the only option. And I will tell you an example that of course we have many stations in India, right from Delhi and Calcutta. I have visited one center in Doddaballapur near Bangalore, where it is we have 500 kilowatt transmitters for each. So we can transmit 2 megawatts of power to that through that antennas and all. So and that will reach all the Asian countries, New Zealand, Australia, and all. So anybody of Indian origin want to listen to radio, that is the only way. Shortwave radio is the only way. And maintaining a 2 megawatt of power is not at all easy. Even monthly electricity bill itself comes in lakhs. So now, with the development of this app, News on Air, that means now it is available on across world, and not only just one channel. You have got 230 plus radio programs, and some of the DD programs are now slowly getting added. That means now, see, I request all our members, please download this News on Air app, and you can watch all the radio channels transmitting in India. And now there is a proposal to close down that superpower transmitter, because we all heard about electromagnetic interference of mobiles. Okay, and all these base station powers are very, very low. And in spite of it, we were worried about the electromagnetic interference and its effects on our health. Hey, consider a transmitter which is 60 kilometers away. Okay, a shortwave station. Transmitting 2 megawatts of power. Definitely nearby village people, definitely, and the people working in the transmitter should be subjected to this kind of power, and definitely they will have a long-term health issues, definitely, because you are transmitting at least 500 kilowatt each at particular time, because this especially the foreign service, they'll be transmitting at different times to different countries. So all that is being now replaced with a single app. That is what is news on air app. So that's definitely a real achievement for our people. So this is what a small screenshot where not only the all India radio signals, you have some TV signals also, and yeah, this is a very popular app. I think if somebody is not really downloaded so far, I request members to download this News on Air app. So another thing is now you all know. See, earlier we started with a linear TV content, and I'm transmitting to a single fixed set. But now the sets have become now more variety of sets with starting from a mobile resolution to a very high-end HD and Ultra HD sets. Now earlier, see, non-linear media content is watched on mobile, and linear content is watched on fixed TV sets. But the things are now changed a lot. That means the linear TV content is also watched in a mobile, and non-linear content is also watched on TV screens and all. This one shift happened and all, because, and once the significant reason is that the traditional broadcasting is slowly giving way to non-linear methods like OTT and other services. So in fact, in abroad, especially advanced countries, already 40 to 50% have already migrated from linear TV content to watching on a non-linear means, especially mobiles and smartphones and tablets. So what are the technological innovations happening now which is influencing broadcasting? First fundamental thing is, yeah, we are still with the linear, and India, linear is more very popular. But of course, non-linear is getting very popular because of Geo, where the data costs are very low. And in fact, the data costs in India are the lowest, I think, compared to any advanced countries. That means more young generation, and of course, the elders also consuming content on non-linear devices like mobiles. That's speaking very fast. That means the linear TV content watchers are slowly migrating, especially young and other people are very fast migrating to non-linear methods. So, but still, linear method is still there. But what is actually happening overall? What are the innovations happening in broadcasting? First, look at the resolution part. Yes, no, the resolution, as I said, starting from the standard definition thing, where we are transmitting 270 megabits per second baseband data rate, to the high definition, which is 1.5 gigabits per second. And then if you talk about 4K, that is 4 times the high definition television. That means that will be, in fact, 1.5 into 4 and 6 gigabits per second. So that means people are now interested in more resolution, especially sports program is driving this requirement of resolution, and some of the film, especially films and sports programs are the one which are driving this requirement of very high resolution. And today the program production is happening in most of the time in 4K. And the second important point is not only in the resolution side, see the dynamic range and the frame rate, gamut and all. See, for example, the high dynamic range, the sense, the variation between the black and white. See, if you look at, if I have some slide, if you look at this, the dynamic range, the human visual system has a very smooth transition from black to white. And if this, now, for example, this is similar to that conversion from analog to digital. When I'm converting from analog to digital, see infinite values in analog. When I'm converted to digital, so I'll be using quantization, sampling and quantization. So obviously there will be quantization noise error. So there'll be some, when you replicate the waveform, you will find small edges. So in a similar way here, so if I want to imitate the normal human visual system, now in a low dynamic range, the transition from black to white is not that smooth. So this is one when you go for high dynamic range. This is an attempt to imitate your cameras, imitate the human visual system, because my human visual system is quite analog, and whereas we are transmitting in digital. So how to reduce that? Have more and more resolutions. Just like now, how do I reduce the quantization noise? I increase the number of bits represented, isn't it? So sampling I'll be doing, and then quantization number of bits I'll be increasing from 8, 16, 32, 64 and all. Thereby I'll be imitating the analog. So similarly, there is a huge requirement nowadays that I want to imitate actually what is in the real time picture. It's not that, no, that's what my eye can see, how my eye looks at the dynamic range from black to white. So I want to approach the human visual system, and there is a huge attempt in this direction also. Not just not only resolution, but also the uh, the second thing is high frame rate. We all know that there is a 25 frames per second is our PAL system. But the more higher frame rate, because our eye cannot observe the differences. For example, if I say 25 frames per second, that means 1 by 25 second. See, one frame and other frame. So we cannot discern, our human visual system cannot discern the difference between these between these frames. So we observe the continuity. We all know in films also, the frames are repeated 16 times a second. Then we observe the continuity. So that is based on that we are started with the 25 frames per second. So that means all equipment in the analog and initial digital also, we are restricted to 25 frames per second. That's what we are the digitalizing and going into that. So now important point is there are some special programs where you require high frame rate. And for example, look at that. We are very much familiar with the cricket broadcast, especially run out situations. Why some coverages is not able to judge, third umpire is not able to judge between one frame and other frame, is that the information is not available. That is why benefit of doubt goes to batsman. If the information is available, so how to make information available? You transmit more frames. That means nowadays specific cameras are coming with 50 frames per second, 100 frames per second, and if it is an American system, it's 120 frames per second. That means with the number of frames also increasing. That means what idea is, by increasing the number of frames, I am getting more highly resolute decisions I can make, because every small interval I am getting that picture. So you understood my point, I think, that in especially for run out situations or some other stumping or all this, so every more information should be available to the third umpire to make a judgment. If you want to have more information, that you have to have more frames transmitted. So there are some very specific areas in the sports where you require high frame rate cameras. Definitely more frame rates will increase the data rate. Okay. So if it is 25 frames one rate, if it is a 50 frames per second, obviously more data. So you have to deal with the higher data. That's always there. So now the third important point is color gamut. I want to just fundamentally why we are going for not just normal color gamut. We are going for wide color gamut. So I will give a small show example that see, of course, for example, you come to the color gamut. So this is the within that you have basically we'll be representing in cameras RGB, right? So red, green, blue. This is what is called chromacity diagram. But we will not. This is what your eye can, your human visual system can see all these colors within the chromacity diagram. So that, but I'm not able to transmit all. I'm only able to transmit within the triangle. That means that all the colors which are available in nature, I'm not able to collect from my camera, and what I'm basically seeing on the screen is there is a small element of error. That means I am not able to reproduce all kinds of colors. For example, if you look at the normal color gamut, which can represent, let us say, 16.7 million colors. If you go for wider color gamut, it can represent billion colors. So when you can represent a billion colors, it will approach human visual system. That means you will be able to see more natural colors on the screen. Okay. With this also, the more, of course, you will have more resolution, more number of bits have to be transmitted. So the important point I am trying to say here, even though your human visual system can see more colors, but because of the limitations in these diagrams, your RGB cameras, red and green and blue, that limitations in that. So with that result, I'm not able to see all the colors. That's what I'm saying. Between a normal triangle to a wide color gamut, there is huge difference. I was telling that in HD TV, you take a HD TV, which is of norm now in any of the latest thing, it can represent only 16.7 million colors. But wider color gamut can represent 1 billion colors. So this is one. So these are three areas. I'm saying I have not started a transmission point of view. I have just seen from the generation point of view. So I'm saying, you see, in the linear content itself, I have not gone to non-linear. I said, so I will sum up saying that yes, the resolution is increasing, and then the frame rates are increasing, the dynamic range is increasing, more colors are represented in terms of wider color gamut, and this is the technological innovations are happening and happening very fast. And whenever any Olympics games happen, that they will try to incorporate all the latest technologies there. And recently in Japan Olympics, that they have started production in 8K, and we are very happy with HD now. And you see how many times, 16 times more resolution than the HD. So obviously, it is approaching almost film, more than film quality right now. Right. Sir, am I going in the right direction, sir? Any doubts so far?
Yes, sir, you are going in the right direction, sir.
I'm just telling, yes, these are the technological innovations are happening. Sir, just you look at the picture, sir. In the backside, see, and I will show a better dynamic range, contrast, and you see this, sir. Basically, I think all these pictures, if you see, that there is some difference, isn't there? There is some difference. So if you look at this, I'm not able to see the sky back of the trees, right? If you go to the other side, other thing, yeah, some the cloud is, some sky is visible, isn't that, sir? The sky is visible compared to the earlier one. See, here the sky is not visible, and here the sky is visible, even if you increase the contrast. So actually, if I see with my eyes, definitely I could have seen the sky. Okay, and sometimes because of your limitations of the camera and the contrast, poor contrast. Okay, if you see the clouds, you will not be able to see the nearby picture clearly. Right? Here, if you focus on the front, there is a backside, you will not be able to see. So that sometimes we cannot see the nature. That means your eye can see many more colors than your camera. So that is what I'm trying to say, that yes, technological innovations are happening even in the linear TV, where we lean back and see in our houses the fixed TV on my this one. So the resolution is increasing, frame rate is increasing, dynamic range is increasing, and color gamut is also. But from linear, now more and more, now we are going to disruptive, we can say non-linear mode of thing, where we are shifting from a normal standard definition interface, serial digital interface, we call it SDA, which is a normal thing earlier we are doing in a broadcasting setup, which is nothing to do with the IP. IP is Internet Protocol. So with nothing to, now more and more shift is happening from a normal standard definition to IP based production, and then today, if some of the members, some of the new satellite operators or some channel operators want to start a channel, now it's very difficult to take a time-consuming process because they have to apply for satellite rights. They have to get the spectrum. We all know how difficult to get the spectrum licenses from WPC, and even for establishing a huge setup of television setup. No, you have to purchase a very television-specific equipment based on serial digital interface. So that kind of setup for new people or medium people is a very very time very 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 costly equipment, and no time consuming also. Especially getting a satellite license for a channel is not easy. And many of the people who wanted to start one channel, they ended up using only through cable and other means because they could not get the satellite rights. Even though right now around 900 and plus satellite channels are there, so every day more and more people want to start a satellite channel. So now with the cloud entered in the picture, that means using cloud, now it has become very easy for the small operators, a small channel operator. They can start a channel, they can start a YouTube channel, or they can also start. For example, let us look at the one simple example. Why I'm saying cloud is an important one. For example, now let us take our own DTH. We have a DD Direct thing, just like Sun Direct and Dish TV and Tata Sky. We also have a DTH, which is called DD Free Dish. This is called DD Free Dish, which is not very popular in, of course, in South, because in that only Doordarshan channels are there. And but important point is it has got 40 million subscribers. See, I think it's a very news to you. I think it's a news. Is it not, sir? We have a Doordarshan also has got a DD Direct Free Dish, and it has got 40 million subscribers.
Oh, very nice.
So I think it's a news to you, no, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is a news, sir.
Yeah,
we
because
were not knowing about it.
yeah, that's basically big. And that free dish, once you spend around 2,300, once you purchase the set-top box and dish, it is free for life. That means free of cost. So no subscription every month. No, you don't have to say this channel is not there, that channel is not there. Of course, in DD Direct, we are now giving around 120 plus channels, whereas 40 plus channels are only for education, sir.
Wow.
40 channels are education, and 30 are Doordarshan channels, and remaining are private channels. Whoever wants to be on our network, they have to pay carry fees. So initially, when we started, TV9 Telugu was there, and after that, once they become popular, they have gone out of the platform. But now the efforts are being made to increase that number of channels to 200 plus. So hopefully, if some Telugu channels comes onto that band, and that DD Free Dish also will become popular, sir, in the South. See, you all know South, huge competition. That a lot of North channels are there compared to North. And this many channels are Hindi, and some very few are English. It is very popular in Hindi region, sir. And 40 million subscribers are there as per estimates in DD Free Dish. The biggest advantage is that that it is free, but initial cost is there around 2,300 because you have to purchase the dish and also some cable and set-top box. And that is one of the reason why we are closing a lot of transmitters. See, these transmitters outlived their purpose because that's a analog one mode, and you are transmitting only one channel. And today, even poor people also don't have any Yagi antenna on the rooftop. Okay, poor people anyway will not have proper roof, so there is no question of having a rooftop antenna. So in that is why our focus is all competing with the private channels in terms of the generation and transmission, and definitely we should not be put very poor people in the position. So these days now a lot of people are taking Sun Direct with 100 rupees or 200 rupees, but later on many people are connecting and disconnecting it because after that they start, if they want some channel, the additional subscription, and if they don't pay, they'll cut it. So DD free dish is not like that, sir. It's a free. Okay, sir. So, and cloud technology is one of the things happening. And of course, the significant one, apart from the 5G, the machine learning and artificial intelligence effect on the broadcasting also. Little bit we'll discuss, sir. Um, and of course, we also have a lot of social media handles. Every Doordarshan Kendra has got social media handles in YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and all. So, and efforts are also on to go for OTT mode. And some of the our DD National, we have one separate channel called DD India. So, our effort is to promote this DD India across the world. So just to give Indian government's perspective, because a lot of fake news, against religion, against the country, they are all happening. Some vested interest and all, and in this world of social media, fake news is we all know how fast it spreads. So now we also want to promote one channel across the things. We have tied up with South Korea, and they have agreed to take DD India on OTT platform. And in America, our DD India is already there. Like that, no, we want to have a traditional channel even in other countries also. So at this point of time, these are the three technical innovations we are trying to focus on, sir. Is it fine, sir? Is it going fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I keep
Very interesting, sir. Very
I
interesting.
keep disturbing you because now I'm watching only my thing. So I'm not watching you.
Sir, viewership also going on 96 to 97, sir. Program is interesting, sir.
Yes, sure,
Please
sir.
go.
Nice. That's a more creative thing to me.
Yeah.
Pleasing to my ears. Right. Good. Thank you. Okay, so since another half an hour is there, then I'll a little bit use non-linear methods, not linear methods here. Okay, that's what. See, in sum up, I say immersive experience. That means, these days, I think you have one theater in Gachibowli. People say that is Mahesh Babu's film theater and all. So there, they are using this next generation audio. So where your audio, you feel that you are part of the scene. Okay, so that kind of experiment is also being made. It's what we call immersive experience. So once we go for high resolution, and then with the high dynamic range and wide color gamut and all, when you are approaching natural scenes, you will feel immersive, isn't it? You are connected to nature, isn't it? So it's not that artificial things I'm doing on screen. Except these fights and all, anyway, people are realized that it's artificial and all. But normally, I want to see the nature. I want to be part of the nature. So with artificial intelligence and machine learning, virtual reality, augmented reality, and with the high resolution and all, which is approaching nature, that means I have a very immersive experience. I will be involving as if I am also part of the show. And that is one of the direction our broadcasting industry is going, sir. So, of course, this high resolution facility, large screen view, future proofing the content in the sense that today, after 10 years, if I want to watch today's program, and that is possible if you generate in 4K. Because just to take an example of Ramayana and Mahabharata. See, at that point of time, Ramayana and Mahabharata were one of the great pieces of art. There, we were very, very happy with the resolution at that time. But now, after 30 years or thing, and during pandemic, we wanted to transmit that Ramayana and Mahabharata. Of course, it was a huge hit. But definitely, the quality conscious, resolution conscious people, they observed something. They saying something. Okay, something is missing, because right now they are habituated for HD, isn't it? So if I want to have a future-proofing content, that means a content which can be seen after 10 years, 20 years, or something which has got archival value. And that kind of content, if you want to have in future, then you please generate in 4K. That means 4 times more resolution than HD. So that is what we are saying. Of course, right now, if you want to use it, you down convert it. The good news about down conversion means, I generate in 4K, I reduce to SD, and I reduce to HD. and I transmit now. So by down converting it, of course, little bit of resolution loss will be there, but that reduces noise also. Because the more the resolution, more is the noise. I think people who are aware about image processing techniques and all, obviously more pixels, now you reduce the pixels and all. Of course, color resolution enhancement, because you are generating with higher pixels. Now only you are reducing the format. So reframing and storage, bandwidth, speed, complex post-processing delivery and all. This is, of course, see, one of the biggest disadvantage of all these developments is you have to deal with very, very huge data rates in terms of 6 gigabytes, 10 gigabits and all. So that kind of data rate is no thing. For example, the Geo started initially with saying that it is a replacement for Dish TV and all, saying that I will give you all non-linear, Amazon, everything, along with the Wi-Fi. But I want to ask the people who have taken Geo, how qualitative though your HD channels are. How qualitative your HD channels are compared to direct satellite mode. So definitely there are doubts, isn't it?
Yes, there are doubts, sir.
There are
We are
doubts.
facing.
So now, for example, what is the key there? The key is, see, this is a non-linear mode. Whereas the linear mode, I am transmitting through satellite, and satellite is transmitting 300 channels to your set-top box, and your set-top box is receiving all 300. So only thing is, with just a remote, you are able to convert from tuning from one channel to other channel, because those channels are available in your set-top box in your house. But whereas for Geo or something, that see, it's more of a video on demand or something like that. So based on the number of users, they have to be, obviously they should share the same bandwidth, isn't it? So with the results, if the more people start using it, or within our own house, if we have a Wi-Fi plus these Amazon and all non-linear methods, there is a problem. So obviously there is a, so when you are dealing with all these high resolutions and all, so your bandwidth also be good, your fiber network also has to be good, your end-mail connectivity should be very, very good. But fortunately, of course, the fiber the quality is increasing, your IP connectivity increasing. So in future, definitely belongs to non-linear methods. But I'm very sure with this kind of constraints, India, definitely the linear methods also will go, and the non-linear methods also, both will be complementary to each other. Just like we have a cable, we have got DTH and thing. So both are existing, isn't it? So like this non-linear thing also will be thing, and the linear also will be. Yeah, this earlier I told you this D65 is for the standard definition, and this will be for high definition. So that means when you go for high definition, you will have more color depth. So that means you are able to represent more colors. So that looks better for your eye. It's more realistic compared to the thing. Now another example is if you have less number of colors. This is one example that. But if you have more colors, what is actually happening? Red is becoming more redder. Blue is becoming more bluer, and of course the other green is becoming more greener. So the second picture has got more. Second picture has got more wider color gamut compared to the. Yeah. Now the quality conscious people. Yes. When you habitate for HD, you don't tend to see SD, isn't it? Similarly, when you are really interested for 4K and 8K, yes, the only thing is a lot of other issues like the transmission lines, generation of huge data rate content is the bottom line. But yes, effort will be on in this direction. Sorry, sir, I come back to the. Now I came back to the screen mode, sir. Right. So now I'll be a little bit skipping. Sir, I want to very briefly, in 5 minutes, I'll want to send. See, we have started a DTT in Hyderabad and other 19 cities. That this is a digital transmitter, and 5 Doordarshan channels and 3 radio channels are transmitted during in with this transmitter, sir. Actually, when I go from analog to digital, if I want to preserve the terrestrial advantages, that the biggest disadvantage in analog is that I'm only able to transmit one single channel. So people are now aware that they want more channels. Quality in analog is not good. So now to replace that, we have started digital terrestrial transmitters, sir. So here the advantage is that I can transmit 5 Doordarshan programs and 3 radio channels also. So right now in Hyderabad, we are transmitting Yadagiri plus 4 other DD National, DD other things, and 3 radio channels also, Radio Vidabharti and All India Radio Vijayawada, another radio Yadagiri. So they don't have Yadagiri, but some other radio channel from Hyderabad, they are transmitting, sir. So the biggest advantage is in this is that it will go up to 50 to 70 kilometer radius within Hyderabad. We have made experiments that it has gone good quality up to 40 kilometers. Some areas, depending on the environment, the greenery, tall raised buildings and all, the little bit coverage varies, sir, because you all know that in a metro underground, you will not get the cell signals. And whatever the rules apply for cell, the same thing applies for DTT also, because it's a terrestrial mode of transmission. Otherwise, you'll be getting thing. The biggest advantage here is, I want to tell you that see, while you are on move, since we use co-FDM is a coed orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, that it's a multi-carrier modulation system, which does much better in fading, and compared to FM, because we are popular with the mobile FM now. Sometimes you don't get when you are really going at a speed, you will not get a good signal, because that's a single carrier modulation system, and if that single carrier fades, you will not get the signal. But here it's a multi-carrier modulation systems depending on 4K, 8K. So if you take 8K, 8,192 carriers are transmitted. That means your original message is distributed over 8,000 carriers. So the fundamental point is all carriers will not be faded simultaneously. By using error correction techniques and all, you'll be able to good. So these are all, of course, many of the students and professors know it. Advantage of co-FDM, and you must have done a lot of research in that. But it's a huge advantage when you are in train or any mobile thing. This will be now, because co-FDM must for anything. If you are traveling with 100 kilometers per hour, also you'll get a very crystal clear radio signals. So in All India Radio, we have started DRM. DRM means Digital Radio Mondial, is one digital technique that so in abroad countries it's becoming a little more popular than India. We have started many transmitters like that, but unfortunately in other countries, what they made during the selling of the cars itself, they made it mandatory to have this DRM receiver. So once you have DRM receiver with a digital mode, you'll be receiving a host of channels, digital quality radio signals now. Then it becomes more and more. So you all know about electronics, as more and more people start using it, the cost will come down. So you can spread the R&D costs across many users, right? So DRM is also done. Digital terrestrial transmitter is from television side, and DRM is for the radio side. Both are in digital mode. Both are in terrestrial side. So it's not that we have completely left the terrestrial mode. So we still know the advantage of terrestrial mode. It's a local kind of coverage, and in terms of crisis, in terms of disaster, sometimes the digital terrestrial mode transmitters only will work, because many times we know that the mobiles only worked during a thing, even if power goes and all. Similarly, in digital terrestrial transmitters also will be useful. So we are continuing that thing. But right now, see, the popularity of Doordarshan channels are not that high compared to the TV9 and ETV and other private channels. So we have to bring, just like we in DD Direct, we have brought some private operators to make it successful. So we should also bring some private operators into the thing, then it also becomes popular. So the biggest advantage of this is that, of course, this is 8 channels and all. We can increase the number of channels and TV channels also. So the rainbow and all things are transmitted. And what you require for this? You require a small dongle, and because you require a tuner, no? For any transmission, you all know that so whatever transmitting method I used, I have to have a proper receiver. Whatever frequencies, mostly it is done in UHF, so UHF tuner has to be there in your receiver. And some of the manufacturers also came up with the DVT2 chipsets within the TV set. And also, but because of the huge competition in the market, so whatever little 1,000 rupees or 1,500 rupees extra, because the service has not become so popular, so it is not gaining ground now. But yes, you can receive it mobile also. It is a OTG enabled USB port. If you have, you put a small dongle costing around 1,500 rupees, you can receive this thing. The great news is that no internet is required, no data is involved. That is two things you have to keep in mind. See, by spending 1,500, what is that I get? I get any cricket matches happening. You can see without any data, without anything. But unfortunately, what happened when we started this in 19 cities and all, our USP was that no data is required, no internet is required. You can watch on your mobile or move. That is fine. But with Geo entering into the market uh, with a very affordable package where the data costs are very very low, that means now they can watch anything because what is the advantage? In our DVT2, I am transmitting 5 Doordarshan and 3 radio. They can do only watch those only. But in a Geo or with a mobile, you can watch anything you want, provided you have data charges and all. So since data charges are very low, so no, it has given a good competition to us, and still not very popular and all. But just to mention you that we have whatever efforts Prasar Bharat has made. Yes, we want to be on terrestrial because terrestrial has got some advantages. You all know about it. So some experiment also made. And this is where going at a high speed and mobile. A small dongle will be there. This is UTG. That you can watch any program. You can watch any program and very crystal clear because it's based on co-FDM, orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. So, but in future, why we have not started some more transmitters is that our Prasara Bharati wants to go for study the models. So, sir, please. Any questions, sir? Or I will.
No, sir, you can go ahead, sir. You can go ahead.
You can.
So I want to see you also, because now I'm interacting.
That's all. Echo is coming, sir. Another phone
Yes.
is on, I think so. Yeah, please. No, it's okay. Please go ahead, sir.
So now the technology is DVT2 of all digital terrestrial transmitters. This is a natural extension to PAL standard. In analog, we used to follow phase alternate line, and of course NTSC is American standards like that. But now there is a study going on in Prasara Bharati that ATSC is little more beneficial compared to DVT2 because ATSC is more naturally inclined to IP compared to DVT2. Even though DVT2 also has started little bit encapsulation of IP features into the DVT2, but ATSC is 3.0 is more IP. So why IP? Why IP has become so important? I want to start a little bit on that. I'm just skipping some and see why IP has become so important. Right? I just want to dwell on that. See, very broadly, the IT industry is very, very big compared to telecom industry, and broadcasting industry is very minuscule of little bit, maybe some 7% or 5% of the overall market. And why I'm saying is many of the things like the generation, transmission, and telecasting and all. So if it's an IP based, that see whatever advance. See why I'm saying is in a broadcasting setup. Let us take an example of let us say the cables and routers and all the other devices that right now it is all SDI based. SDI means serial digital interface. That means I'll be transmitting my luma, chroma into sampling and quantization. I mix it and then add some data and make a stream, which is called transport stream. That is 270 megabits per second for SD, and HD it is 1.5 gigabits per second. So this is the standard protocol. So we have a very fixed, very rigid infrastructure to be in place for broadcasting. And even for transmission also through satellite, I have a fixed spectrum, and so many issues are there. So they are all broadcast specific. And when you go to telecom industry is much more bigger things. No, for example, this is the old 2019 figures. So here is a 51 billion market. This is a 700 billion market, whereas IT industry is 3,500 billion market, and this is increasing exponentially. IT industry is increasing exponentially, and of course telecom also increasing exponentially, but not the broadcasting industry. So most of the things once we purchase for broadcast industry, they are not upgradable. So okay, we have purchased a lot of equipment for SD. The same equipment cannot be converted to HD so easily, and many times 90% of the equipment has to be purchased afresh. Just look at the technological changes happening over a period of time, how fast the technology is changing. So suddenly if I want to change from SD to HD, HD to UHD, U to 8K, then my entire infrastructure has to be changed. 90% of the infrastructure has to be changed. So it is not scalable. Fundamentally, it is not scalable. For example, when you come to the telecom industry, it is much little better. And when it comes to IT industry, of course, the market is so big. So you will get economics of scale advantage, right? So if we want to have this technological changes happening so fast, then some migration, the common protocols of IP has to be taken. And with a lot of advancement in IT industry, that the cables also, you have 3G cables, 10G networks at affordable speed, affordable rates, and you have the routers and other IP switches, which are also because of the huge market, the cost of those things are becoming affordable. So compared to the IT industry network costs and the transmission costs, the broadcast industry costs are very high. And another biggest advantage of IT industry is that it is scalable. See, IP networks, when you transmit from instead of serial digital interface transport layer, compared to that, if you transmit, that is actually circuit switching, this is a packet based transmission. So from that circuit switching and to the thing, of course there are some disadvantages of IP based network, because you don't have a standard fixed transmission to receiving one line and all that kind of things are not there. No, SDA broadcast industry is only unidirectional. That means I am transmitting, you are watching. There is no two-way communication and all. So in terms of the error rates and all, definitely broadcasting industry is very good. And in fact, the quality is today 10 to the power of -8 is minimum. That means one error in 100 million bits transmitted. It's such a high quality now transmission is happening. And the kind of error correction techniques you are using in broadcasting industry is that double layer, concatenate coding. That means what? You have coding for removing burst errors when you have lightning kind of things. You have codecs for removing random errors, convolution codes. So that means you are using combination of that, and thereby you are achieving at a high quality rate. That means 1 in 10 to the power of -8. That means you can afford to have one error in 10 to the power 100 million bits transmitted. Such is the high quality thing. Definitely IP industry, you will not have that kind of quality, because but the advantage in IP is if something is not received, you can again retransmit and get it. So, but in broadcast industry, it's a real time. It has to happen. So some of the disadvantages are also there in IP based networking. But because of the huge advancements happening and the answers they are giving for packet rerouting and all at that phenomenal rate, which the broadcast industry needs. So now the trend is towards IP based. That means now when you go to the nonlinear mode, anyway you have to go to the IP mode, isn't it? So if I want to use the cloud, then I have to go for IP and all. So the shift is happening. See, even in initial also, when you have telecom industry, I will give a small example of coding. Say our compression techniques, we started with MPEG stream of 1, 2, then 4, and these MPEG stream of profiles depending on the target device and all. But the telecom industry started with H.263 and those things. But now what has actually happened? Some merger has taken place, and now we are both. There also compression is required. Data bits we have to deal with, and broadcast industry also we have to deal with the zeros and ones. So now common protocols have come. That H.264 is now one of the very popular standard which can be used for telecom industry and also broadcasting. So with the result, the costs have come down. And 265 now, H.265 is another very, very popular codec which is used for both the telecom and broadcasting. So similar thing, now if you want to take advantage of the flexibility IP offers, and the economical scale offered by the thing, and the kind of advancements happening in IT, the broadcast industry shifting to nonlinear methods, thereby to IP, has become very, very significant. Today, the cloud has become very, very popular for broadcasters, and of course, the IP has become very, very popular to broadcasters, is because the costs have come down and the flexibility has improved. The scaling has become very, very easy. That means today, if I want to convert from SD to HD, HD to 4K, what all I have to deal with? I have to deal with higher data rates. If my IP infrastructure has got that capability to handle that high data rates, yes, IP network is much more now flexible. That yes, there are some problems like jitter in the sense when you don't receive the packets on time, then you have jitter, which is very, very problematic and all. So some of the things you have to focus on, refine it, and do it for broadcasters. The thing also, but by and large, whatever advantages you have got for H.265 kind of telecom industry codecs, and same thing now you'll also get when you go for IP. Sir, any doubts, sir? I'm just talking about general things only.
Yeah, I think Vanishri has raised her hand. She can ask question if there is any question.
Please, it gives me some break. Please.
Rajesh Kumar, I think so, sir.
Rajesh Kumar, any?
Hello, sir. I'm Lakshmi, sir, not Rajesh Kumar.
Yeah, okay. Lakshmi.
Yeah, please ask.
No, actually, this is my subject. What sir is talking, and
Yes,
I do agree with him because of this latest error correcting codes and these techniques. Broadcasting has really become a revolution, But the only disadvantage, the way sir told that all these data things, whatever we are getting the information and content because of data, it is actually trying to kill this our broadcasting industry. That is the thing here. I do agree with that, sir. My doubt is that the way we are talking about this FM and all, is it also coming under broadcasting only, sir?
FM.
Sir, FM radio we are hearing everywhere, sir.
Yeah, it's a broadcasting.
Sir, then we do one thing, sir. It will be always helpful if we try to give FM in all our highways, because what is happening, we do travel because of COVID and all. Now we are all traveling with our own vehicles, sir, and that FM is not working in between so many places.
Right.
Can we do something about that so that it will become popular? As such, FM is very popular, sir. I have seen it, and even remote in villages, it's very popular. People are always hearing FM in their vehicles or whatever way. So can we do something about getting FM on highways, sir?
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Actually, webinars, no. If you don't face the audience and questions.
Sir, Ranganathan, sir, there is another phone. I think it is on. So echo is coming.
Okay.
Please, could you please switch it off?
So now it's okay, sir?
Yeah, fine, sir. Please.
So thank you, madam. Actually, when you don't have questions, it looks very, mechanical. So especially in webinars, I can't see you now. Thank you, madam. You have raised the right question. First is killing broadcast industry is not completely correct. See, everybody has to evolve. Sir, are you getting me, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's not killing broadcast industry. Everybody has to evolve. So this is one process where everybody, because ultimately cost is very important, madam. Cost is very important, and scalability is also very, very important, because everything is changing. I can't change the entire setup just because I want to convert to HD. So in IT industry, IP enabled things are very easy, because you all know. Second point is FM. Yeah, you're 100% true that FM is really popular, and all over the world, the decision has taken to shift from analog to digital. Every country was given a date that by this date you should not have any analog. Analog is very spectral inefficient, madam, and spectrum is very, very key, for anything. Even in India also 5G, the trials are a little bit delayed because of the non-availability of spectrum. Of course, now they have given some spectrum for testing. So the spectrum is very, very important. Analog is a very inefficient spectral usage. I told you. See, I will give an example. In DTT, digital terrestrial transmitter, I'm using same 8 megahertz UHF. Earlier, I was transmitting only one signal. Now I am transmitting 5 TVs and 3 radios. In fact, I can transmit 100 radio signals in 8 megahertz. So that is FM thing. But FM is so popular. Even in America, they have not converted to digital. So FM is still existing. In these examples you told me, you have lots of small FM transmitters in highway that you never lose any connectivity any of the highways in America because of the FM transmitters. They keep on giving all kinds of information. I have not been to US, but people tell me that whenever they go on the highway, they'll say your FM is always there. So they also delayed the conversion from analog to digital. See, the time frame, even America also not met with that because of the popularity of FM. Is it okay, ma'am? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that means we are in the process, sir?
Yeah, see, every country has been given, don't use analog.
Okay, okay.
So now what they have to do is, they have to convert to digital.
Okay, so maybe because of our legacy equipment, we are just lagging, I think. So we may take up, sir.
See, basically compared to now, why echo is coming? So, hello, madam, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, sir. You're audible.
Okay. See, now compared to video, the audio data rates for FM or radio is very, very low. The focus was not that much for bandwidth issues, and that is in 88 megahertz to 108 megahertz FM. So those spectrum are mainly used in the lower band where military purpose, that very longer wavelengths, longer distance are required and all, isn't that, ma'am? Since you are electronic professor, so the lower frequencies are not very, very, they are used for military and other. So 88 megahertz to 100 megahertz is where the focus is not on that. For example, 5G you require higher frequency. So like that, but they have to be fixed. They have fixed it, they are continuing. But one day they have to convert.
Yes, sir. I got you, sir. I got you.
Thank you. So this is a small diagram how IP remote production is a possibility. See, IP remote production is here. If you see that, if you see any of the sports program, football or cricket, we have to have outside the stadium a very big van, which we call it as studio on wheels. So all the crew, all the data analytics, all the videography, all the replays, and we will have around 16 plus cameras to 20 cameras, and some are remote cameras, some are drone cameras, some are stump cameras. All these camera, personnel, and all things will come to the outside a very big van that we call it a studio on wheels. So even though some infrastructure issues are there, some compromises are made because you can't make a very big camera into small small vehicle. But yeah, very congested one and with some limitations. There is a lot of things happen that production people, engineering people, a lot of people will be focusing on replays. A lot of people will be focusing on graphics, video analytics, data analytics, and all. So now that is actually very, very costly process, that kind of coverage. Suppose if you convert to IP, now what can I do? Is that, for example, the operational cost can be reduced drastically if you convert to IP or 5G. So here from the venue itself, what will happen is we will be keeping the cameramen only. If the network is good, we'll only keep the cameramen and cameras inside the stadium. All camera outputs separately by using lease lines will come to the main broadcast center. So there is a shift now happening because of the IP. Now I can engage in a lease line and connect to a main camera output directly to my studio. Why should I spend a big vehicle there and parking there, power supply, all the cables should be laid to the outside the stadium is not a easy thing. That in 1990 itself, some of our engineers used to go top of the rooftop of the stadium, and from there the cable laying is a very, very tedious process. The people who work in that, they'll know the real difficulties. Now with IP, what is that? The camera output can be brought to remote location. My point is the camera can be brought to remote location. That means what? That is because the IP network has evolved. Your telecom network has evolved. So that means each camera output will come directly to the broadcasting center. It will be easy to manage in broadcasting center because we got a fixed facilities and used. So that is one of the biggest advantage of going for IP or 5G and all. So yeah, here normally what happens is from the camera, the fiber connectivity will come to local the converter and general WAN. Because these days the broadband connectivity has improved a lot. And if it's not the case, you can have a lease lines. And today they are giving because of ISDN 64 into something, 64K into something, depending on your the high definition camera or not. So you can always hire those facilities. It will be much cheaper. Even if you hire 16 camera output separately lease lines, it will be much cheaper than you keeping going for 3 days before there, putting all kinds of things in the stadium. So any remote production, IP has the advantage now. Any remote production, IP has the advantage. This is one small example I was telling thing, that the only cameramen will be there with the backpacks. With the backpacks where you can transmit either through your cellular network, if it is good, or any kind of lease lines or base station from there. So here the entire production center is here. So this is now started slowly even in India. They have started producing programs like this. Not only cricket, any other program, it can be done. And even if you take ETV, Gemini, all these people, they are not generating all these D and other kind of programs, Big Boss in a traditional studios. They are doing outside only, and they can transmit in a different way. See, fundamental point I'll tell you. For example, Annapurna Studios. Some of the ETV major programs happen there. So what they do is they will have some more cameras, around 16 to 20 cameras. See, sometimes you feel this many number of cameras are required. In fact, it is 20 cameras are not required. When you are focusing on a stage, you don't require 20, isn't it? See, in a cricket match, you have got a lot of people, you have to track the ball, you have to see the audience, and so many things. But I was surprised that they are using 20 cameras for a normal dance show. So the idea is, out of the 20, only 5 cameramen are there. 2 cameras are movable, Jimmy GP we call it as, that remotely you can move, right, with the different angles and all. See, all other cameras, they are fixed cameras, directly they record it. The major work they are doing in post-production. See, they are doing major work in post-production. So with the result, why there's so many cameras? They don't want to miss any visual. So it may be an important. See, when something is happening in a dance floor, so you can't focus every time. No camera is the dance is much faster than the cameraman. No, so see, that means this remote thing. Why they are using so many cameras? They don't want to miss anything, and they want to reduce the number of camera persons also. Cost is also very important for them, and they record all those things, and they spend more time on post-production. Similarly, come to the IP-based network. So instead of sending all kinds of people 5 days before and after installation, removal, all network, go from one place to other place, instead of that, it will be easy for me to send a few cameramen and the work is done. Because the network has become now IP, and you have a very good IP infrastructure evolving, even in India, with Geo and other people are coming into picture. Sir, because now already 12, I just show some diagrams and some displays, and I'll wind up.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, right now the 5G spectrum, they are giving 700 megahertz. Some trials are going on 3.5 gigahertz. Some trials are going on. Ultimately, maybe it may settle in 26 gigahertz for 5G. This is what is the cloud. I'm talking about it. Many of the new channel operators, they are using cloud, and it's very easy to start. But again, when you go for high resolution UHD and all, data rates are very, very high, and those data rates, download speeds and upload speeds, these are all, of course, still some issues are there in cloud. But yes, you want to start a channel in a small way, cloud is the best, and not the traditional satellite apply karo. WC Wireless Planning Commission will take years to give the license, and transponder costs are very, very high nowadays. You approach ISRO for permission, they all take a long time. That's why more and more people are approaching cloud for starting a new channel, and some of the video on demand operators also, they are doing in cloud. Yeah, see, I don't have time to explain all this, but I will some examples. These are all not ours. I've just copied it. So I'll just audio is not no.
Yeah, audio is not coming.
Yeah, just little bit better, no?
Very low.
Very low. Very low.
No audio, sir.
Little low. Okay. The point I'm trying to say is, future you will be having this artificial interpret iBots, we call it as. That means newsreaders. See, if somebody want a newsreader for 24 hours, the artificial intelligence based newsreader is the best. That she is not actual newsreader. It is AI based artificial intelligence based newsreader, and you go on feeding the data. But right now it is not looking at little natural because her movements are fixed. But of course, you all know about AI and machine learning. As you give right data and start learning from the previous one, and already the Chinese model is almost approaching the human being. So in future, we may see newsreaders, not the physical newsreaders. They're all artificial AI-based newsreaders. The advantage is costly, very less costly, and 24 hours, no problem. They will not get tired. They will, of course, they are very poor in showing emotions and all. And see, yesterday our Rosayas are expired and all. So you have to show emotions, You can't just read just like another news story, isn't it? So yeah, there are a lot of things to be done, but in future you will see more of artificial intelligence based news readers. So this is another thing, is a lot of fake things can be done. Sorry, I couldn't. I didn't check the audio part. Little very, very low.
Foremost in all of our minds has been the loss and grief felt by the people of Orlando. Most of us don't get our health care through market prices.
This is University of Washington researchers have come up with.
Know is that thanks to the Affordable Care Act, your coverage is better today than it was before. Women can get free checkups. Can't get charged more just for being a woman. Some progress, at least within the small confines of the legal community. I think it's real important. Here we go. President Barack Obama, when you're giving a speech, make sure you use a lot of thought. America's businesses have created 14.5 million jobs over 75 straight months.
We're developing technology. Every technology can be used in some negative way, and so we all should work towards making sure that it's not going to happen. And even one of the interesting directions is that once you know how to create something, you know how to reverse engineer it. And so you can, and so one could create methods for identifying edited videos versus real videos.
I think you got the point that yes, a lot of fake videos can be easily generated during election time and all, using this artificial intelligence. Yeah, I will show some more weather channel. This is one weather channel.
The storm surge will find its way well inland. So let's now have a look at what that might be like. For example, we know Florence is going to bring 1 to 3 feet of inundation.
Audio a little better?
That certainly is enough to knock.
Yeah, it's better now.
It definitely stalled cars out, even carry cars away.
This is weather
and
channel.
Certainly flood many of the lower levels of structure. But we know Florence is also going to bring water rises well above that, perhaps up to 6 feet. Now, 6 feet of water, imagine that. That carries large objects in it, like cars, for example, that can.
So this is showing if it is 3 feet water, what is the effect? If it is 6 feet water, what is our effect in a weather channel using augmented reality and all.
إلى قلب الحدث ليعيشه صورة وصوتا في تقنية مذهلة. هي الغارات الإسرائيلية على مواقع قرب العاصمة السورية دمشق. وإن خرجت سالما هذه المرة من بين ألسنة اللهب فإنه لا ضمانة لي بأن أنجو من دبابة تي 72 التي ستشاهدونها قريبا ضمن برامجنا الإخبارية. أملا بأن تطلق حمامها نحو الأبرياء والأطفال بل ستكون للدفاع عنهم وعن الوطن الذي يضمهم.
Yeah, just seeing right now how our people are doing it and what is our technology focus happening and all. So
jeg skal prøve at se, fordi der sidder nok nogle af vores seere derude, der ikke helt ved, hvad det der holddisciplin er, og hvad det betyder, og hvad det kan betyde, når du snakker om, at en kort spiller. Lad os lige prøve at komme ned til vores lille tegnebord dernede.
This is a Danish channel. They are doing a cycling competition coverage.
Og Team Sky, de starter. Det er jo dem, der kommer til at lægge standarden fra start.
Ja, og det vil sige, det er jo et eller andet sted en dårlig ting for dem, fordi at de har ikke nogen at køre efter. Så de skal køre mod sig selv og mod uret. Hvorimod dem, der starter længere ned i rækkerne, som for eksempel Quickstep, som er også en af
Just a few minutes to come. I have not edited the...
Lad os lige prøve, fordi nu står vi faktisk nede ved vores helt nye gimmick her. Han har gjort noget der hele formiddagen for at tegne og fortælle.
Ja, det er dejligt legetøj. Det er dejligt legetøj. Så vil jeg lige sige, at vi har jo lige fået besked dernede fra Lars Mikkelsen, hvad rækkefølgen de starter i.
Ja, så de måtte lave om, hørte vi også.
De måtte lave om, og der er nok ikke noget dårligt gæt, at den der skulle være udsendt til at starte, det var Luis de Sanchez. Det er det ikke. Det skal være en erfaren rytter. Det skal være en rytter, der kan sætte fart fra starten. Så derfor har man valgt Michael Valdring
til at starte. Og det, der sker, når Valgren så har sat tingene i gang, har taget en rigtig god føring, så står Michael Valgren ud. Og så lægger han sig helt derude. Og så er det Frejles tur til at tage en føring. Og så er det altså sådan, at styrkeforholdene er forskellige blandt rytterne, og det vil sige, at de føringer, de tager, de er også afstemt efter den styrke, de har.
Men er det derfor, det er så afgørende, om man er 8 eller 7 mand?
Ja, absolut, fordi at jo flere folk du er, jo mere restitutionstid har du på hjul. Det er jo altafgørende, at du er så frisk som overhovedet muligt, når det er, at du kommer frem og tager front. Og en mand mere eller mindre, det er jo, skal vi sige, hvis du tager en føring på 20 sekunder.
Men prøv så at fortælle, hvad er det, der gør for, hvis man nu siger, at en Jesper Hansen for eksempel, som jo er en, der man normalt tænker, det er ikke hans disciplin, det er ikke derfor, han er med. Hvad gør man så for at beskytte ham, og så samtidig få noget ud af ham?
Det er sådan, jeg tror, der kommer til at ske. Det er, at nu kan I se, at vinden, den kommer jo herfra, så de ligger sandsynligvis sådan her på hjul af hinanden. Ikke? Når det er vinden, den kommer derfra. Kører de den anden vej, så
for at beskytte hinanden,
for at ligge på hjul. Så det er det, det drejer sig om. Jeg vil tro, at Jesper Hansen er nok det svageste led, de har. Så efter 5 minutter, 10 minutter, 10 km, så lang tid som overhovedet muligt, så når vi nok til det punkt, hvor Jesper Hansen han skal begynde at sidde over, som det hedder. Og det vil sige, at han tager ikke længere føringer. Så ligger han sidst. Og det vil sige, at når han på et tidspunkt er frem og fører, så slår han ned ligesom alle de andre, og så videre, og ligger sig sidst. Så rykker de op, så de ligger efter hinanden, og så ligger de fører. Frejle og efter ham.
Så kører han væk.
Nej, det gør han ikke. Det, der sker, når Frejle har ført, så giver Jesper Hansen plads.
Hello. Sir, I couldn't, I have not shared it properly. Sorry, edited it properly. Okay, but anyway, thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Sir, it's a pleasure to be with IIT always. Thank you everybody.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It's a very interesting program. Almost the participants figure has reached to 99. I'm very happy and thank you to all the participants for making this program successful and very interesting topic, sir. You took so nicely.
I hope I have not bored anybody.
Not at all, sir. Program is very interesting.
Thank you.
Excellent session, sir. Before we conclude, I request if any questions are there. I think Khatija Begum has raised her hand. You can go ahead and ask the question, madam.
Sir, Veerabhadra Rao.
I am Dr. Veerabhadra Rao.
Yeah,
I got some doubts regarding digital terrestrial transmission.
Okay.
You take, for example, I would like to use my old CRT TV.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are using, when you are going for this digital terrestrial transmission, you may be using the same Malakpet TV tower, which is of say 70 feet height.
Right.
Then you are advising me to use set-top box for this TV.
Yes.
As it is, we are using a set-top box for the cable, which is maybe at 4 megahertz. Through cable, it is all right. But when I am going for my digital terrestrial transmission, what is the frequency? Are you going to work at microwaves?
No, it is a UHF only. It is
and UHF, how are you going to meet the bandwidth?
No. See, normally in our analog also, in VHF, we are having 7 megahertz bandwidth. And UHF from 480 to 700 plus, we are using 8 megahertz bandwidth.
No. That is for the presentation part of it.
That is same for even analog or digital?
No. That is the output.
Okay.
I'm talking about the input. Input case set-top box should get the information at a very high rate.
The cable DTH set-top box, they can't be used. You have to use a separate set-top box.
No, I fully agree. This is for cable 4.5 megahertz. But when you are going for digital terrestrial one, if the frequency should be above that one only, 4.5, I mean, 10 times to that one, whatever it is. So you're thinking the same 70 megahertz will be used for the transmission?
8 megahertz. See, sir, one important point, please remember that I am, whether it is analog or digital, I am transmitting electromagnetic wave only. Number one. Okay. Number two, earlier, I am modulating analog signal on analog carrier. In digital, I'll be carrying digital signal on analog carrier. So electromagnetic wave is analog.
That's true. That is true. But
Frequency also same. Earlier, for example, VHF was there. I replaced with UHF. You have to have a UHF tuner.
No, of course. Okay. For digital transmission, we use only analog carrier only.
Give my email ID. I will give my email ID. Please.
Kindly.
Okay, just a minute.
I will talk to you.
Please.
Regarding the bandwidth.
Yes.
You can put in the chat box your email ID.
I've already put it, sir.
Okay, right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
This Khatija Begum has raised her hand, and also Kinara Kiran.
No.
Please, Kinara, you have any question? I think there are no more questions. Sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, it was an excellent presentation, sir, and we came to know that Doordarshan and Prasar Bharati, they are doing very well. In fact, earlier we used to think that their job is only to transmit whatever the events are happening, but you have done a lot of new things you have introduced. We came to know today that app, DD Free Dish, and about various standards that you are going to implement soon. That also we came to know, and digital quality radios for cars, TSC standard also perhaps you are going to introduce, and there is something beyond HDMI that we came to know only today.
Right, sir.
Otherwise, I was not knowing. Sir, there is one question still I have. Many times this some of the equipments are still old. For example, recording systems and all those things, especially in the defense, and they don't want to change that. And today's gadgets, they all transmit digital, and they would like to record them again back on the old system only. Do we have any such system where we can record in the old system digital data?
Again, let us talk separately, sir. What is the equipment? If you give me the details of the equipment, what we can do and all. We have some old systems. We have more old systems in Hyderabad than Vijayawada. But anyway, we can have a separate mail chat. And you can give me the details of the equipment, and maybe I have some answers.
Yeah, and since you are working in error coding technique, I think perhaps we should have one full session on error coding techniques itself, sir.
Sure.
So thank you, sir. With this, I request our Women Empower Committee Chairman, Tuti Sandhya, to deliver vote of thanks.
Sir, one Kiran sir want to ask one doubt, sir.
Yeah. I have asked him to go ahead. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Please go ahead.
Sir, I have a query. So, what is the major difference between nanocell as well as USD? Some transmission or I'm selecting a TV or something.
Nanocell?
Nanocell, I think USD, both things are available in the market. So in terms of transmission, is there any big differences there, or any changes or any difference?
No, you're talking about 5G nanocell or what?
No, sir, TV set I'm saying about.
In TV set, we only deal with the resolution.
Okay. So I think what is the major technological change between nanocell and USDs?
No, if for example, more resolution, I would say, for example, if you take HD, that is 980 into 1920 into 1080 resolution. So your screens also, they will have lots of pixel resolutions. While when the time of purchase, you can always, that specs will be there in that. How many pixels that the screen can, without any distortion, without any that squarization, that always is there. But when you go for a UHD and all, so whether your TV should be able to replace or not, a small difference will be there.
And thank you for this augmented reality and AML challenges slide.
Yeah.
So that is impressive, sir. That I for the
Computer graphics are really entering into broadcast.
yes,
very
yes, sir.
fast.
That's impressive. Thank you, sir.
Very fast, very fast. Thank you, Fred.
Madam Sandhya, can you deliver vote of thanks? Devraj, confirm whether Sandhya is there.
1 second, sir.
Sir, you gave some examples of Ramayana and Mahabharata telecast.
Yeah.
They were really the very popular channels as far as popular programs as far as Doordarshan is concerned.
We have tried to convert to HD.
Yeah. In fact, my question was same thing. Can you from lower resolution to converting to higher resolution? How difficult it is?
It's see, you don't get real HD, but efforts are made. See, that's where we have a huge archives. The artificial intelligence and machine learning approaches are very, very key for archival, because we have a huge database. Getting the kind of things, doing some video comparison, using computer vision methods to enhance the quality of the image is a big task. In fact, our Prasara Bharati has tied up with IIT Kanpur on two important aspects. One is how to use this artificial intelligence and machine learning on the huge archives we got. For example, we have some of the footages of 1930 era. I think the Constituent Assembly discussions during the Ambedkar's time, they are also available with us. And Chennai Rajagopalachari's speech is also available with us. Now, how we want to we have to use these AI and ML methods to really enhance that old recordings, which is a very huge value, and that we want to stream. So one already project is going on in IIT Kanpur, and the second thing is ATC 3.0. How the digital terrestrial transmitters are more beneficial if I use ATC 3.0, and what are to be done. So on these two broadcasting to mobiles and AI and ML methods on archives, these are the two projects already the Prasar Bharati is tied up with IIT Kanpur. They're already doing work.
So,
And as far as Ramayana and Mahabharata is concerned, we just try to enhance going to HD and all. But yes, original resolution, we can't enhance much. So that is why now, whenever anybody produces, they are producing in 4K only. Even though they are not transmitting now 4K.
Yeah, that is a good thing actually.
Future proofing.
Yeah. Madam Sandhya, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, sir. I am here.
Yeah, please go ahead and deliver vote of thanks, madam.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity given. So, I, Tuti Sandhya, EC member, IIT Hyderabad Center, take the privilege to thank today's speaker, Dharmana Ranganathan Garu, for addressing on the changing phase of broadcasting and also discussing various parameters to be enhanced according to the current areas of application. We thank you, sir, on behalf of IIT Hyderabad Center. We thank you for accepting our invitation and sharing all your knowledge with the participants. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank our chairman, K. Gnaneshwar Rao Garu, for giving all the institutions this opportunity to listen to the respected speaker today. And we thank the vice chairman, Sangamakar sir, and Sitaram Babu sir, honorary secretary, Nuri Namashivaya sir, for giving this opportunity for all of us. And last but not least, we would like to thank all the professors, faculty members, senior IET members, and the students who have attended and made this webinar successful today. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sangamkar sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We would like to see you again, sir, with interesting topic on FEC.
Nice to have
All
you,
right.
all people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vasudha Murthy garu.